Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Lisa, the art teacher. Welcome back to my table of art. Well, we're in week 3 of the summer session, and this week we're talking all about the solar system. What about our solar system? Well, you're going to learn that the planets in our solar system orbit around our sun. There's 8 planets that we are going to work with today that orbit all around our sun. I'm going to be sending you a sheet that lists all the planets. Here's the sun, and the rest of the planets orbit all around the sun. The first one here, Mercury, is the closest to the sun. Pluto at the bottom is the furthest from the sun. I would like to make something with you so you could always look at the planets and how the order is of where they orbit around the sun. So I made this solar system. Whoop, I gotta back up. It's too big to even show you the whole page. If I go this way, you can see the whole thing. I started with the sun up at the top. Imagine that this is orbiting along this line, but the line continues off the paper into a circle. That's Mercury. Mercury is orbiting around the sun. This is my sun. I glued it so it's a little bit off the paper. When I'm done, I'm going to cut it, or I might leave it hanging off the paper. But this is the first planet which is closest to the sun, which orbits around, and that is Mercury. Next, we have Venus. I made a line that goes all the way around, and then you have to imagine that it continues. And you do that with all the planets all the way down till you get to Pluto, the furthest one from the sun. That would be the last line. You're going to do the same thing when you create your solar system. Notice this group in the center here. They don't look like planets. Well, guess what? They're not. It's thousands of rocks and debris. Thousands of rocks and debris. And they're only right here between these 2 planets. And those 2 planets are Mars and Jupiter. And this whole cluster of thousands of rocks and debris also orbit around the sun. So we imagine that it continues off the paper and around in a circular direction. Just like the planets. We're imagining they're going all around the sun. So there's this whole cluster of rocks and debris in between Mars and Jupiter, and it's called the asteroid belt. They're asteroids, nothing but a bunch of rocks and debris called asteroids, and these asteroids circle around the sun. There's a little bit more you're going to learn about this asteroid belt. But that's not for me. I'm going to tell you about the planets today. So what's going to happen is I'm going to send you all the supplies you're going to need to duplicate my solar system. Notice my planets. They're very similar to the printout. They're kind of like a marbly look to them. They're not really exact shapes or patterns. It's just like a marbly effect, almost like a blurry effect, all the different planets. We're going to create the same effect by marbleizing. We're painting with marbles, creating that same effect that the planets on the printout have. So first, I'm going to make sure you have this big, large piece of black paper. The black paper that I can't fit into the screen. You're each going to get one of those. You're also going to get a template. So when you're done making all your marbleized paper, you know how to cut the shapes of the planets out by using your template. I'm going to send you a piece of foil, just a small piece. And what you're going to do is you're going to create your asteroid belt with them. This is going to be all that rock and debris. Thousands. Then I'm going to send you 2 sheets of white construction paper. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to fold them in half, cut one in half and cut the other in quarters. And I'll show you how to do that, so don't worry. I'm also going to send you 3 marbles. This way, you can put each marble in the color paint you're going to need. You're going to need tempera paint. Some of you have told your teacher that you needed some at home, so they'll be packed and ready for you and shipped home. If anybody else needs it, just let your teacher know and she'll tell me and I'll send it home to you, so not to worry. So those of you that you have tempera paint, you're good to go. Those of you that don't have tempera paint, and I know about it, I'm sending it home to you, but I'm only sending you 3 colors, the primary colors. Do you remember what the primary colors are? The primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Primary colors are the magic colors. Remember I always said that? They're the ones that make the rest of the colors in the rainbow. Red and yellow make orange. So if I mixed my red paint with my yellow paint, I would get orange. If I mixed my red paint with blue paint, I would get purple. If I mixed my blue paint with yellow paint, I would get green. But I don't want you to worry about remembering that, because I'm going to send you home a color theory sheet of paper that shows you how to mix the colors to create the secondary colors. Primary colors mixed together create secondary colors. So if red, blue, and yellow are the primary colors, what do you think the secondary colors are? Well, if you said purple, orange, and green, well, you are 100% right. And again, don't worry. I'm sending home a picture of the color wheel and how to make the secondary colors using red, yellow, and blue. So not to worry, okay? All right, so I think that's it with the supplies. You'll get this sheet as well, so you could have this as a guide. If you want to follow this, that's fine for the colors of the planets. If you don't want to follow this and you want to make your planets any color you want, that's up to you. But I did mine basically following this guide, okay? Now you're going to need something at home to place your marbles and your white construction paper in. I'm using this tin, but if you don't have a tin or a shallow baking pan, the best thing to do is use a cereal box and cut open the top, leaving only the bottom as a square to use. I made one. I'm going to show it to you when we get started with the lesson. So I think that's everything that we're going to need for today. I have also spoons. This is going to help me pick up the marbles when I put them into the tempera paint. Make sure it's a washable paint. You don't want to have a mess. So I think we might be ready to start. So I'm going to change the camera so it's down on my table so we can create our art. Okay? So give me a minute. Thank you. Okay, boys and girls. Here we have my solar system, starting with the sun up at the top. And remember, all these planets are rotating around the sun. They're going into a circular direction around the sun. And here we have the asteroid belt, all those thousands of rocks and debris. So we're going to recreate this so you have your own solar system that you can remember and learn. Now, remember I told you we're going to need tempera paint. Now, let me put this aside. And we're going to take out the fresh piece of black paper, which you're going to use to create your solar system. We're going to need red, yellow, and blue tempera paint. Now I'm using 3 spoons, but you're only going to get 1 spoon and you'll have to clean them in between. I do not have access to a sink, so I need to just use the 3 spoons. You're also going to get 3 marbles. 1 will go into each color of the paint. Now right now you have 3 colors, blue, red, and yellow. But if you want it green, orange, and purple, you'll need to mix your colors. So here we have blue plus yellow equals green. Yellow plus red equals orange. Red plus blue equals purple. And I got a picture of a color wheel here for you as well. So you'll know how to mix your colors and create new colors. So I'm going to put that aside. You're going to receive this. And you're also going to receive this as a guide on how you want to marbleize your planets. So I'm going to keep the planets close by. And I'm going to put the color wheel behind me. You're going to need that pan I was telling you about. Here I have the metal pan, but again, if you don't have that metal pan, you can make your own pan using a cereal box. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to go get my cereal box, which I thought I had already packed, so hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back with the cereal box. Now I want to show you what I did. This is a regular box of cereal where I cut out the top of the cereal box and I taped the sides together. Now I have a shallow box or pan that I can use to create my Marbleized Planets. I'm going to put this one aside because I have my pan and I don't need to use the box. Now, I'm sending you 2 pieces of construction paper. 1, 2. Some of the planets are larger than others. Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn being the largest. So you may need a large piece of paper. So one of your white sheets of paper, I want you to fold in half. Remember, let the corners meet, corner to corner. Slide down and over. Now you have a guide where to cut the paper in half. Because you want to make different colors on different papers. So now we have 2 half sheets of paper. Put that aside. Here's 2. 2 of these together make 1. Then you're going to do the same thing with your second piece. Let the corners meet. Use the folded line to cut. And it doesn't have to be perfect, don't worry. Now you're going to take this half sheet and fold that in half again. And use the fold line as a cutting guide and cut. And do the same with the other half sheet of paper. Corner to corner. Hold your finger in the middle, slide down and over. Open up, use the fold line as your cutting guide. Again, don't worry about being perfect. We'll use these smaller pieces for the smaller planets and these larger pieces for the larger planets, okay? So how about we get started creating our planets? Would you like to start with the sun? That's one of our bigger planets, so I'm going to use the big sheet of paper. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to place it into my shallow pan. What colors are in the sun? Can you see? I see yellow and I see orange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my yellow paper paint. I'm going to roll this marble into the paint. Looks like mustard. Then I'm going to just drop it into the pan. And I'm going to shake that marble all around this pan. Let the paper connect with the paint as the marble rolls over it. Try to get that whole clump of yellow. So you're actually painting your planets with a marble. The marble is acting as our paintbrush for this project. Yes, we want to get over that big mass of yellow and spread it around. It's almost like a game. When you think you've had enough yellow, which I'm not quite ready yet, then I'm going to take my spoon and pick up the marble, if you can. and put him back into the paint because I'll come back to him later. Now I'd like to add some red because I don't have orange, but red and yellow together create orange. So let's throw in that red marble and do the same thing. Roll it around on the pan, covering our paper. Whoopsie, went underneath. Get out, come out wherever you are. Roll it back and forth and side to side, in and out. Look at the great marble effect we're getting from this. So you're going to continue doing this until you feel like you've covered the paper enough. Look at that. Now, if you don't think that you got enough orange, then maybe you should take another cup, mix a little yellow with the red. Now remember, red is a very strong color, so if you are going to mix, you need to use a very little amount of red. I'm going to use this plastic cup that I have right here, just so I could create some orange for us. Just a dot and just a dot. And let's mix this together. It's a little orangey. So I'm going to take this red marble and stick it in this little cup, swirl it around in the paint, get as much on as I can, and plop it back into the pan and roll it around. So we've got some orange coming in there. You can make more orange if you'd like. And just keep going over your paper until it's enough for you. Use as much paint as you want, use as little paint as you want. When you're done, take your marble out, put it away, and you're going to need to take your paper out so you can do it again with another one. So here, you want to find a spot where you can let these dry safely. I have a spot over to the side, so if you give me a minute, I'm going to go put this away, okay? Okay, so that one's over to the side, drying nice. So how about we go to one of the smaller planets? Let's say Neptune, and that's just blue. So I'm going to use one of my smaller sheets of paper to create my marbled Neptune. I'm going to put it right into the same pan. I'm going to take my blue paint, make sure the marble is covered with the blue paint, drop it into my pan, and start rolling it back and forth. Where's that marble? Oh, I got a little dent in it. There we go. Rolling it right over the paper. And continue doing this until you feel like you've had enough. If you need to get more paint onto your marble, simply use your spoon, cover it with your paint, and bring it back to the paper and continue rolling. And you'll have your marbleized painted planets. Look how nice that looks. Add what colors you want, mix as much as you want, have fun doing this. Now, let me put this whole thing over to the side because we're done with the paint. Now you do this until you make all the colors you want. There are so many colors you could create. You know that you can make red, blue, and yellow. And then when you mix those colors, we could add 3 more colors, so that's 6 colors. But then you combine those colors. You can make blue with yellow, blue with orange, blue with green, blue with red. Whatever colors you want to make. You can mix them all up as much as you want. So now I'm going to put that aside to dry. And I want to show you some of the papers that I have already made. I've already cut out my planets. So you'll see that the planets, the papers are all cut open. So I made a whole bunch of different colors. Here I made purples and blues. See the circular position? I already cut the planets out. See all the different colors? This is green and blue. Here I have yellow and blue. I have orange and yellow. I have red and blue. I have red and orange and yellow. So what you're going to do is you're going to start cutting out your planets. And that's where the template comes in. I've given you a template of all the planets. Now you see how big the sun is? That's why I made you cut a big piece. So this will definitely fit on your paper if you need to trace it. Now, how do we work our templates? I'm going to pick a smaller planet so I could show you. All right, I have a piece here. I have a lot of room left right here. So I'm going to take a smaller planet. Let's say I'm going to do Venus next. I'm going to trace Venus with my pencil. This is how we transfer the planet onto my marbleized paper. So I can then cut it out and create my solar system. Okay, so I have Venus outlined with the pencil. I'm going to find which area I like best. I like it here because there's a lot of paint in this area. Now you can see it right through the paper where I've already traced. And I'm going to place it right over that painted area and rub the back of the paper. What's happening now is I'm transferring the pencil marks from the front of the paper on to my marbleized paper. Now, why didn't that work? Oh, it did. It's just very light. So go back and press heavier onto your planet. We'll try that again. I think I brushed it off when I rubbed my finger. I'm going to try it again. And now we're going to press hard on the back so it transfers onto the front, onto the paint. It might not be working because it's transferring onto the paint. We may have to turn the paper over, upside down, the marbleized paper, so the pencil will, oh no, it worked. Okay, so now you can see the circular pencil mark on the marbleized paper. And now we're just going to cut out that planet. You're going to do this until you're done making all of your planets. There's one secret I want to give you about Saturn. Saturn has a ring around it. Do you see that ring? So how can we make that ring? Well, it's very simple. Whatever color you choose for your planet, take a little piece. I'm going to take this piece right here. Fold it in half, but don't bend it. Just fold it. See, I'm not creasing it. I just bent it in half. And I'm going to cut a big, big letter U. There's the letter U. I'm going to make a smaller letter U on the inside, keeping it bent in half. There we go. Look at that letter U. Now, if I open it up, I've got the ring for Saturn. And I will place the planet right inside the ring because part of it's going to come around the front and the other part goes behind the planet. You see that? There's your ring of Saturn. So let me put this over here. And when it's time to glue down, you'll glue that together. So you're going to get the planets, a template to create your planets, and the black paper to place your planets down. Now I only have a couple here, so all you have to do is put them in the proper order, starting from the sun all the way down to Pluto. And when you're done, you glue them in place. Space them out like I did. Let me show you. They don't have to come right down in a straight line. Just remember, they do have to be spaced apart because even if they were in a straight line, they're still spaced because this is the closest to the sun and Pluto's the furthest from the sun. So this would be down at the bottom of the page and this will be at the top of the page, closest to the sun. Once you've decided where you want all your planets to be, then you take your glue stick and you glue them down. I'm going to add an extra one just to show you. It's an extra planet. Turn it upside down, put some glue on the back of your planet, and stick it on. I'm going to put it in between these two. Not quite on the line, because now I'm going to come back to this with either a white crayon or an oil pastel, something that's going to stand out. Now I gotta imagine I'm drawing this big, huge circle around the sun. So I'm just going to follow the lines before it and after it. So there's the orbit of my new planet that I just put down. Then I took my crayon and I just started adding some stars in between. Because you know there's tons of stars out in the sky. So I like doing that. The white will make them show up. Now I'm also giving you that little piece of foil, remember? Because we want to make that asteroid belt in between Mars and Jupiter. So just take little strips of it. Crumple it in a ball. You can even use your glue stick for this, or you can use liquid glue. Just glue a spot where you want to put your asteroid. Oh, see, I got a little glue there. Now just stick it there. No big deal. Has no specific shape or form. I just tear it and crinkle it. If I use the glue, that's a stick. Then I just put a little glob of glue down and stick the foil right on top. There's my asteroid belt. Pretty cool, right? Now remember I told you I had the sun sticking out because I liked having just part of it shown? So I'm coming back now. I'm going to turn it upside down and I'm just going to cut the top of the sun off, so it's level with the paper. There's still some glue on it. It's not dry. I like that look better. What do you think? I think this is absolutely beautiful. And if you'd like, you could go back to your planets with your white crayon. This will help you remember the planets. If you take your white crayon and you write the names of your planets on the paper. So let me get my white crayon. And what do we say? This one here, this is the sun. See that? The sun. And what was next? Mercury. You could do this if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Next one was Venus. Venus, if you will. That was a pretty song when I was growing up. Next is Earth. That's where we're from. We're on the Earth. The asteroid belt may look like it's close to Earth, but it's really far away. Next we have Mars. Who's after Mars? Jupiter. Jupiter. And between Mars and Jupiter is the asteroid belt. Then my favorite, Saturn. I just like that extra ring. Girls love rings and bling. That's why I made them silver. The asteroids are blingy. After Saturn comes Uranus, then Neptune. Oh, you know what I did? And then Pluto. Remember, that was the one I added. So that's really not Uranus. This really is. But I'll make this Neptune. And this will be, I'm going to have to take this off. Uranus is wrong. I'm going to name it Lisa. That's my planet. I added that planet, so I made my name. This one is Uranus. Not a problem. And last, here we have Neptune. And who's this little guy? Pluto. And that's it, boys and girls. Here is your solar system with all its asteroids and all its stars and all its glory. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learn about your solar system while in your summer camp this week. And I hope you enjoyed making this project as much as I enjoyed doing it with you. So hang on, I'd like to say goodbye, so hold off. Well, that was super duper as far as I'm concerned. And here we have our solar system. Super cool. Marbleized planets, that is. So guys, have a great time making your planets. I'm sending home as much as I can to make sure you can make the projects. Learn a little bit. Have fun a little bit. Miss me a little bit as much as I miss you a lot of bit. And I know I'm going to see you soon. School year's starting. And I heard we're all getting back together. Yes! Okay, boys and girls, this is Miss Lisa saying, ciao for now from my table of art. And I'll see you soon. I hear next week's all about habitats. What are we going to do then?